Thanks for joining us this afternoon for the last session of the day. Hopefully we all still have energy. We promise to make this fun. I actually was in St. Augustine, Florida over the weekend, where there was the Ponce de Leon Hotel, which is now part of Flagler College, and it has a beautiful mosaic floor. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Plus a gorgeous dome made out of gold. But what's so interesting about it is when we designed the mosaic floor, they purposely made mistakes in the geometric patterns so that Henry Flagler could say that the hotel wasn't perfect. So I just thought that was sort of an interesting, since we're talking about a product named Mosaic today. So nothing's perfect, but you can still love it, enjoy it, and so there we go. So good afternoon, my name is Christopher Howard. I'm one of the directors of Software as a Service Innovation at EBSCO. I'm not here at EBSCO. And joining me today, you guys both introduce yourselves. Yeah.
Stephanie Caselli from Cairn University. I'm Dean of the library as well as director. That didn't sound right, but yes. So I wear many hats.
Yes, and she also does party planning on the side, from what I heard during the parade.
That's right.
And I'm Bethany Pelletier, Director of Product Management, and I work out of the GOBI office up in New Hampshire. So
awesome. So we'll be covering different pieces of Mosaic and Folio, how they integrate with each other now. And Stephanie's going to tie it all together in a beautiful way, just kind of showing it from her perspective as far as the complete workflows. So hopefully you enjoy that, and we'll save some time for questions at the end. So we'll get started into some of the slides just to set the stage, and this is pretty much Bethany. So let me.
we'll just step through, as Christopher said, just a few things to set context, and then we'll see it in action. Yeah.
You might want to go to the microphone.
Oh.
Sure.
Okay, that'll grab the other one. Yeah. There we go.
Over. Yeah, so Mosaic is our new next generation book ordering platform. It will eventually replace both ECM and GOBI over time once it's more fully featured. We're really excited about this. It is built with libraries, alongside libraries. We have a lot of innovation partners and such that have helped us sort of frame it out. So really excited to show you about the FOLIO integrations today and sort of the history there. So like a true mosaic, that's what we have here. Mosaic is built on a modern platform with lots of additional bibliographic metadata available to you, as well as real-time locked-in pricing and eligibility in a modern, sleek, accessible, responsive platform. So really nice to see those modern innovations. So within Mosaic, you can search and discover ebooks, get those locked-in pricing. You can receive fast fulfillment. So all of our ebooks are fulfilled within an hour or less across the board. So we've set a really high bar there for our supplier, e-supplier partners. Receive near immediate access to a cataloging record, as well as fast invoicing. So lots of improvements there. So for Mosaic and Folio integrations, it's smarter, saves you work, and there's really 4 or 5 key categories here that we wanted to kind of key on. First of all, it's a new modern platform like I just showed you. So again, accessible, sort of built to enable non-English language content. Some of the limitations that GOBI has, we've taken care of and mitigated. But in addition, there's really 4 additional key areas that we focused on with the Mosaic and Folio integration that makes it better than the GOBI integration. And just wanted to note, I actually worked on the original GOBI Folio integration years ago. So it's quite fitting to sort of be back here and come full circle and be able to work on the Mosaic integration. So the first is, I'm going to stay near the mic here, that there are more local order details available to you in Mosaic. So the current GOBI integration allows for 10 library local order details. So you can customize them how you want, but you're limited to 10. With Mosaic, we've more than tripled that. And Stephanie will kind of showcase that, I think, but we have 35 available right now for customized local order details. So lots more flexibility for however your workflows are at your library to be able to use the data how you need. In addition, we are now using real-time code list validation via the Folio APIs. So that means when you're within Mosaic and you're placing an order, we will call out to Folio real-time pull your fund lists, your reporting codes, what have you. So there's no longer a concern where the wrong data is input, the order gets rejected, there therefore is a delay for your patrons or researchers. So really closing the gap there, in addition, making it easier so you're not having to edit the data in 2 different systems, worry about it every year when you have a new fund list, et cetera. So we've increased and made that a lot better by having that powered by real-time code list validation. In addition, a kind of neat thing that we have now in Mosaic is the ability to apply folio templates directly from Mosaic. So these are not templates within Mosaic. These are actual folio templates that are surfaced in the Mosaic platform, so that as you're placing an order, you can choose which folio a template that you want to apply. So what this means is if you forget to add an order detail, or you want things to default and you don't want to have to key it every time, you can assign that folio order template and that information will naturally populate for you. And again, it uses the API, so it's going to pull your latest folio template. So just again, is a tighter integration, makes for less work for you. And then lastly, just in general, the end-to-end integration, that folio information is passed back and forth tightly coupled between the 2 systems. So your folio POL, for example, is available within your cataloging record, on your invoice, surfaced in the Mosaic different, et cetera. So lots of nice improvements on the Mosaic integration. So all in all, when does this arrive? Well, it was with the Sunflower release. We're expecting the 2nd patch is when this will likely be available to all of you. And really, it's a seamless ordering, cataloging, and invoicing integration that we're bringing to you through Mosaic. And at the end, we'll talk a little bit more about how to sort of get more information or get signed up if your library is interested. So quick high-level overview you can see here for what the workflow looks like between Mosaic and FOLIO. So you would order within Mosaic, you'll get your standard duplication checking like you would at GOBI. All of that happens. You see your real-time code list validations. You can assign those templates I just mentioned, and then you get your order confirmation both within the platform and also via email. From there, it communicates directly with Folio, passes back that information. Your order is fulfilled within 1 hour. Your cataloging record, you have immediate access to that as well. So nice and tight integration there. You can download the cataloging records singularly or in batch right within the platform. And then from there, you'll get fast invoicing. And that invoice is sent via email. It's also available for download in the storefront. And what Stephanie will showcase is the ability to ingest an EDI invoice as well. Just makes it easier to sort of mash things out, tie it out. Means you're spending less time doing those logistics and more time building out your collection. So with that being said, we're going to do a quick demonstration, live demonstration of ordering in Mosaic and seeing what it looks like in Folio. And from there, Christopher and I will pass it over to Stephanie to share some words. She's our first alpha tester, so she actually is in there the product, and she also is a GOBI customer and using the Folio integration. So she has lots of great observations and things that are insights that you might be interested in. So let me just pop over here real quick and share my screen, and we'll do a quick live demo. So let's see, share my screen. Okay. All right. So here we see Mosaic. Just wanted to note that, can you guys hear me here over in the mic? Yeah. Okay, great. So here within the Mosaic platform, you can see I have done a known item search for specific ISBNs that someone might be interested in ordering. I can see here it's a modern platform. All the information is sort of available to me. I'm going to try to minimize this Zoom so I can see. Perfect. Some of the things I wanted to note was that Mosaic has some improvements over legacy GOBI in that there's additional metadata. Some of these examples are things like accessibility metadata. That's something GOBI doesn't have. We are surfacing that in Mosaic. So you can see, for example, whether a title is DRM free or not is listed here, as well as the available formats. And then when I expand out the purchase options here, I can see a lot of additional accessibility metadata as well as publisher permissions. So this will allow me to make some good purchasing decisions based on how the patron is going to engage with the ebook itself. So you can see here the automated accessibility check will let you know what the percentage is that passed. If there was any specific certification, like in this case, Benetech will be listed here, as well as the publisher permissions for downloading and copy and printing, and all of that is available here. In addition, real-time eligibility and pricing happens in Mosaic, so it's no longer going to get a price query down the road that says, oh, whoops, it's a little bit more, do you still want it? We're doing real-time checking and putting that accurate price up front, as well as locking it in at the price you order. If for some reason you don't have the ability to buy this particular content, perhaps it's a market restriction or something like that, we'll let you know exactly what that reason is as well. So you kind of get all that information pulled forth. Additionally, just want to note, right now it's just books that are available, perpetual ebooks. We'll be building that out in the coming years. If you are interested in print books, there is a quick and easy way to click this little link at the bottom that brings you right into GOBI, to the search results where you can order the print book if you're interested. But just for perspective, you can see here in Legacy GOBI, I'm scrolling down to see 5 different records for the same book. And let me just try to get to my, there we go.
Sorry, we got some screen sharing here.
There.
But within Mosaic, you see one record with all of the purchase options repeated. We have a little bit of an echo here. Yeah, maybe. Just try.
Yep. That's it. Thank you. Tech support, Chris.
No worries.
I just wanted to reverb a little bit.
Session of the day.
But you can see from that example is that in Mosaic, it's a clean interface, right? You see one record with all the ways that you can purchase it, with all the information pulled together. You're not scrolling for 4 or 5 pages to try to find the same information. So I'm going to go ahead and order a title here so you can see what the integration actually looks like, because that's what we're all here to see. So I'm going to take this first title, I'm going to add it to my cart. I'm going to go to my cart, and this is where I can go ahead and apply order details. So I'm going to add some order details here from within Modal. I'm going to pick some things. This is actually, Stephanie, your account in our staging environment. So I'm going to hopefully pick some things that are accurate here, but we'll go ahead. Let's see, I'll pick electronic. I'm going to pick a fund. I'm going to pick an order template. So let's do the default template. My material type, I'm going to pick book. I'm going to say WOLFcon. Receiving note, please notify Stephanie. The requester is Stephanie. And I'm the selector. I would really like this book. And I'm going to hit save. Again, those order details are just some of them. You can have up to 35 and it calls out real time, which is really exciting. I'm going to hit submit order. And at this point, it's connecting to Folio, passing along that information. I see my acknowledgement here, so I know that it's ordered and that price is locked in. And from there, I'm going to pass it over to Christopher to show what this order that we just placed here looks like in Folio and kind of the innovations that are there.
Great. Go. So share again. Perfect. So let me get rid of this. All right. So now we're in Folio. And I'm going to just point out some of the technical integration components within the Folio interface. And Stephanie's going to do a really nice job of giving you that end-to-end workflow from her perspective. So one of the things that you mentioned is how much easier it is to handle things like templates from Mosaic to Folio versus GOBI into Folio. And what I really like about this is it's just using the standard templates that you would set up in the settings area of Folio. So for those of you who either have done it before, or for those of you who haven't, the way those are set up is under the settings area, go to orders, and then from there you go to orders templates. And so here you can set up obviously as many order templates as you want. Those can involve sorts of different fields within the order record itself, which is really the beauty the power of these templates. So you can have a number of different templates set up. As we saw from Bethany's side in Mosaic, you can choose which of those templates you're going to apply and bring in. So if you had certain tags or you're doing ordering for a certain collection or something like that, you could have lots of specific fields that you can guarantee that are going to come in with that Mosaic order. So I think there's a lot of value there. So I just wanted to point out that those are set up in your standard template area. You don't need to know special coding. You don't have to have the GOBI/Mosaic people do anything special for you. It's all just your standard template setup. In addition to that, there is also an area in settings called Mosaic integration. Set up a default order template. And so this will get applied if you haven't selected anything on the Mosaic side. So whatever you select in Mosaic is going to go. But if there's something missing, then it will apply this default as sort of a backup, so to speak. So it's just nice to know that there's that Mosaic integration to the settings. So from we should expect to see that order pop up in the actual Orders app. So if I go over to the Orders app, in this case, because it's an item, receipt's not required, and it is the politics of language. So I can select that item, and then we can sort of confirm that, that is that record and the certain fields came across. There's a receiving note to notify Stephanie. If we scroll down further, we can see some of the other key pieces. There's that purchase order line number that got passed back to Mosaic. There's our requester and our selector, the key with the API, all the things that you would expect. And just to reiterate, you can set up 5 customized fields from Mosaic into Folio now versus GOBI was only 10. So there's a lot of extra customization I think can really benefit at these records. So I think, if I put on my librarian hat and go, let's see, do I want to jump into Mosaic now, even if it's just for e-records? Yeah, it's a great way to test some of this out, to take advantage of those templates, to take advantage of working with this. And as more record types are added, then you can go from there. And as you saw from Bethany's example, I can easily pop into the print GOBI stuff from Mosaic. So it is still somewhat seamless when you're on that side to work with both material types. So those are some of the fields there. The other thing I just wanted to briefly point out, and let's see, there's Stephanie's going to go into this in more detail, but if we go with a live invoice, we can also still load our EDI invoices. If I go into the data input app, I can have one of those automatic generated invoices come to me. From there, I already downloaded it on the desktop here to quickly do it. We can load this invoice in, which is pretty similar to earlier versions if you do API invoicing already. That's just nice to see it happen with Mosaic. Click the run button to make that happen. Let's see here. Through, and there it is. And it's going through the process for me. It just completed, so I can go back, and if I jump into my app, then I can find it. I'll just do a quick search by vendor. And Mosaic. There it is. And that's this one right here. The 1605 is the one that I just brought in. It was from a couple of days ago that I actually had created it, but here you can see it brings that in. There are my links. So there you go. So a couple key things just to point out. The main thing I really wanted to point out though was the settings area and the templates, because I think that's a really nice feature that's been set up. So I'll pass it over to you, Stephanie, to take us through your point of view. I love it.
Hey, let's get this. So Bethany and Christopher did everything. Thank you. We'll see you later. No, just kidding. So just a little bit about a librarian's perspective here. Cairn University is a small university. We're under 1,000 FTE. We're a very small library staff, but I like to say we might be small Labs. And so we're 3 labs, 2 GAs, and a amazing group of student workers. And do something. I like being part of something new. It's a lot of extra work, but it also is important because I to work when it's time to move to something. And so it's been fun because I get to have a little bit of, I get to make sure what I have and what I need it works. So here's our time of how we got here and Karen's involvement with this project. Believe it or not, it was just in 2025 when the EBSCO user group talked about Mosaic and the hope for FOLIO hadn't been built yet, and it was exciting. And I saw her in the room, and I made a beeline, and just everybody knows to get out of the room, see me come after them, but Bethany didn't know yet. Sorry, but so I was like, I want in and out because we GOBI city, but we have a healthy book budget and we like to order books. And so I was asking about print, and it's not yet, but that's okay. We still order a lot of ebooks. And so that was May. July 14th, it was Bethany and Mary Kay and Michelle and Dennis. And we all talked about what we wanted out of this and the timeline. And we were August 28th, which was the first week of classes. And when you think about it, that's August 28th. And today's September 23rd. So it's been a month that we've been working on this. And I've been kicking it around to play with it and having fun. And the thing with Mosaic is I had it a long time ago, but I didn't want to do much with it because I need FOLIO to be integrated. For us, FOLIO has to be part of the deal for us to move over to Mosaic, because I have that working in GOBI at the moment, and I'm not willing to change that. But what we've been doing the last 25 days is literally, they're amazing. It's just like they're just always doing and changing and working to make things better. And the person up at the desk is today because there's still work being done today on what's happening with this project. And so the iterative work that I've witnessed in less than a month, and it's all about the library workflow. It's not about what they want us to do. It's about what we them to do for us, and our workflow actually matters to them. So thank you. And some days there's days that I get like, what do you see? And I get the deal headlights because I'm not used to thinking I get 35 fields. So that's really wonderful. But in the beginning, this is an example of the change. When this first went live, the last week of August, we looked at the order and we had the full code, the full template, and the Mosaic template. And we saw from Bethany's example that there's a heck of a lot more available now. But at that point, it was clunky, it was and it was inflexible. So clunky, it was hard to into the different drop downs. Even they might be optional, and I would play and be like, all right, I want to pick this. I actually don't want a template, but I couldn't get rid of it. Like once you selected something, it was stuck. Limited, obviously, we didn't have options, and it was inflexible because as you would try to go down to pick something, the little drop down menu was tiny and it was really tough to get through. And I'm not sure searching was even available at the beginning. So I apologize because I am, as my husband likes to say, the world's worst document in truly, if I was ever hit by a bus, I'm not sure what would happen. But it was concerning what that first couple days. But really, what this example is, and Bethany actually showed you, but she didn't talk about, this actually happened for the receiving date. It was on Friday at 10:30, just this past Friday. And the question again of what else do you think you would see? And I'm going, and thankfully Dennis says, well, what about the receiving note? I'm like, oh, wait, the receiving note. And but a little bit later, Mosaic is available. And Mosaic into FOLIO, the receiving note, instantaneous with the work that they're doing. So that's really encouraging, and it's just that. And the screen, I was like, wow, these details, this looks beautiful. This is only a portion of it. And it didn't look that way just a couple weeks ago. Our workflow, which I'm not going to spend too much time on, it's pretty basic. It's kind of how we do our work, but really is huge. We want that to be available to our customers as quickly as possible. And it is, and that's been great. And the pieces that are available to us to keep our workflow moving. So when we move into Mosaic, some of the things that I've noticed, kicking the tires around, making it work for us, and it's the quick response time, not just ordering, not just searching, but something in Mosaic is just so responsive compared to GOBI. The ease of access, I'll show you that in a moment, as well as the ease of locating information. And so for ease of access, I was thinking, how many clicks does it take to get to an invoice in GOBI? Well, we start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and as long as it takes 8 clicks to get to the invoice, and it surely takes quite a while for that just to load in the browser to be able to look at it. To see, it's the PO numbers there, which is great. If you know what you're looking for, the user, good stuff. But that's all you get. So let's ask Mr. Al. This was in 5. I was thinking, Mr. Al, how many clicks? And I didn't even get, but thankfully, how many clicks does it take to get to an invoice in Mosaic? Well, 1, 2, 3. 3 clicks to get to an invoice in Mosaic now, which is such a time saver. And we were talking about bringing Tootsie Pops, but we forgot.
Yeah, he ate them already.
So the way to get to the end of a Tootsie Pop, but 3 clicks for an invoice. And there's so much more information on this invoice even. So you have your access model, you have the fund, expense class, PO, the Mosaic, just all right there for you. So Mosaic plus FOLIO for me, there's a couple of things that it means a lot as I was working through it. And as was already demonstrated by Christopher and Bethany, the real-time APIs means that there's real-time updates. So when you update or add a template in FOLIO, it shows up in Mosaic. So you don't have to go and ask anybody from the GOBI team, which the GOBI team is wonderful. I want it to be controlled instead of a ticket controlled or a controlled, because we have so many other things. And when I'm trying to do a new template, and I go, wait, I need to actually open the email and explain and say which one to add, et cetera, make sure that I have the right code for them to add in. I then go, oh, it's not worth it. Let me just add the information on my own. But that's an entity here in my decision making. I can also, as I mentioned, templates, but the data import profiles for the MARC records, you can use those. And I'm the big, let's use the PO on your instance, your holding, and your item. Can do that here with these MARC records. And as Christopher mentioned, there are so many customizable and mappable fields available to us through this. So it really does give you freedom and voicing. So for example, to be able to change to your fund structure, you're actually free to make those changes without then saying, oh, wait, I need to make sure I tell them which funds to get rid of, which ones to add in. But you can also add a new fund or expense class. So we just started a new program, and I haven't added a fund yet in GOBI, but in this instance of Mosaic, in FOLIO, I went ahead and added ETD, and then I added an expense class for educational leadership. And then in Mosaic, it actually shows up without me having to do anything. So the expense class and fund, now they're out of order. Well, they're alphabetical, but they're out of order in of doing things. So they already know that. And then you also have to information, and the URL is huge. And so when somebody requests it, a lot of times I have to send to here's the link. Comes a very so we can just pass that on to the faculty member, pass that on to the student, and not worry about having to remember to get them that information. Or you can go to the activity on the storefront of Mosaic and write the access URL, click the copy button, it sends it to the clipboard and paste it. And finally, it's a record. I'm sure it's in other places too, but it's also in the mock record. So this is the view, and I created in the it's been 3 years. I still call them file tables or row tables, whatever. And so the data input profiles that that we have available to us, I set it up to go into the item, and so you can see here the over when the record and text that I set up. So here's the import profile, the table that I did, and cataloged it or data imported it worked. So right there. So I'm still using GOBI, and because, well, I love our books, and I still believe in print books, and I can't wait for print books to come over. Also, the approval plans that we use and the slip searching, that's big for us. I'm excited to see how that work in Mosaic. And to be honest, I feel like a silly person because Beth just showed everybody how to do that, which I didn't realize. I just have to change it to an ISBN search instead of keywords. See, I'm something every day. But looking ahead for Mosaic, honestly, I'm looking forward to the sunflowers so that we can start using Mosaic in time. We also want to be able to customize those order feeds within the order details so that it goes with our workflow. I need fund and expense, then, and to have the ability to customize that on the library's side, done by not having to ask somebody to do it, is really huge. And then again, approval plans and slip searching. But we're excited. We've kicked it around. We've kind of proven that it actually works. And I can sit here and talk and yap all day, but really it's seeing an account, not just an admin account, I think is important. So I have a couple videos. Just be careful. YouTube said that these are questionable videos and to put down my account this weekend. I convinced them that was not the case. So this is looking at similar to what Bethany and Christopher did. Oh, let me go into full screen. Hold on. And let me take off the 50. Yeah, there we go. So this is me just doing an order. Sorry, I'm not as good as Molly Driscoll with I'm going to go everywhere. What am I doing? So I pick a purchase option. go ahead and add it to cart. I actually am looking, so that was a JSTOR title. This should be a Taylor and Francis, and I think I try to find not an Amazon, an EBSCO, so just bear with me. There's another JSTOR, because JSTOR is great. And go up to the cart, and then I can go ahead and put in my details by just clicking all of them. If I do the same. I can actually search as I was watching this. I'm like, that's right. You can search instead of scrolling down. It's really great. And that's it, right? So, aha. There is once it goes through, I actually have one that was a duplicate. I had already ordered Kyle's book. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to read it, I'm going to resubmit the order. And off it goes. And then we're going to head over to, we need to, right, then we have to go over to the activity. And get your POL. And look for it here, and it's in photo, and it's real time. Yay. And then we have, whoops. Hold on. Whoops. Just a second, where are we? Okay, I'm a Mac person. I've realized that this week that I'm a total Mac person these days. I don't know how to get to, wait, there we go. Nope. There it is, sorry. That's embarrassing. So this one I'm using our the job profile that I created, and it's actually matching on the POE that's located in the instance holding an item. And if it didn't match, then it would create a record. But this is how I do things. And it's here's your mark record. You can't see it too well. It says 3 and 5. If I had been just a patient, all of the records would have been available within just a couple minutes. I'm just impatient. To run, we all do this all the time. I did cut out for you the having to wait for it, so there's a little bit. So it's everything was updated. There's our holding, and you can go to the item. Bless you. And there it is. Nothing fancy. And then, oops. Come on. There we go. And this is exactly what Christopher showed, but I'll show you so you know it's not just because Christopher did it. If I can do it. Just run, grab it, go. And then And these are multi-item invoices, so you can look to see. And I still have no idea why I went this way, but I went by invoice date. And there it is. There are all the lines, and you're going to pay it just like you would. Everything matches. Wish everything was this easy. And so I don't have the permission to change how you can just accept and pay at the same time, approve and pay. So sorry about the double work. But here it is, it's paid. We've now finished this out. I will say I've edited this video for one reason. As we were doing this, Kay was kept double checking everything. And so they kept, I out with the Teams message kept popping up, stop, and okay, to see that. So, but that is real time. That's happening on a common person's account, and it works from start to finish, and it's really exciting. So, I think there's only one slide left. Oops, hold on. Right, get out. And to join the Mosaic community, because it takes all of us. It's great I have a voice, but I'm not every library. We all have, so I think that's the cool part of Mosaic, is that there's so many options and they're all good choices, but we need to know what those choices are and what those options are. So the QR code will take you there. I don't know if you wanted to say anything else.
Yes, so yeah, if you're interested in learning more, that QR code will take you right to the Mosaic page where you can landing page where you can find more information. You can request a login, get some sort of additional information. And also, you know, there's some great ways to stay informed of what is coming. As Stephanie said, we're releasing every week things. And so if you kind of want to understand what's coming, what's on deck, you can follow these areas here and give you that information. In addition, we have a roadmap available on EBSCO.com now, which you can filter by your various subject area or role at the library. And so that will give you some insights of what's on deck. And of course, you can always reach out to me at any time. We have a lot of webinar series and things, so please do reach out directly if you're interested. But as Stephanie said, I mean, we're really interested in having library voices involved. We partner with a lot of libraries with our Innovation Partners program. It's important to us that we support the workflows that you need. So don't hesitate. We love to hear your voices and understand what problems you're trying to solve and help you get there.
So when you see Bethany here across the room, you just think of beeline for the.
Could we open up for questions then? I can move around if anybody in the room has any questions. It looks like there might be some chat. Oh, but if Mary Kay, maybe that was also her responding to people, but we can also see what the questions were and reiterate them. Hopefully it's not that they couldn't hear us. Anybody with questions? Okay.
Two quick questions, probably. Just the timeline from a print coming into Mosaic.
Sure. So we are doing sort of analysis on what that print solution looks like. So we anticipate you'll see it on our roadmap coming soon, but it's not going to be this fiscal year, but we'll be starting the work next fiscal year and within 2 years have that. That's our expectation.
Okay, great. Thanks. And the other question is a question about the inventory part of the integration. I see the records after, but it also looked like there was like a stub. Is that just from samples? Is there some kind of push of a record into?
Yeah, so there is a provisional level record available in Mosaic as soon as the item is fulfilled, so within minutes of the order. But there is no automatic push of that record, so you need to pull those down for now. We are looking at an enhancement to sort of batch those out and push them, but right now it is a manual effort to ingest those. Yeah, great question.
This is better. During the chat, I was a question about shared some instance and so is that in templates you can specify accurates, so you can use accurates as a to help that institution.
Great point, Joe. Thanks.
Should add that today. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Another question in the back here. Okay, I'll get there. Do you want to read that one while I walk back?
Sure. So just one again, just for Mosaic account and get to the other apps, Mark, Gobi, etc. Oh, did you want to read it out loud or quietly?
That's it. You're right.
Sorry, Mark, Gobi, etc. From looks like not going away soon in case we need to check for print version from e-version in Gobi and how to set permission within Mosaic for users with different workflows if need be.
Sure. So just a note, Gobi and Mosaic are two separate, entirely separate systems, and that's intentional because we don't want them tightly coupled. We want to eventually sunset Gobi and have Mosaic be the future. So even the customer definitions are different to be more flexible and extensible. That being said, Mosaic does provide that link that I demonstrated to get to the print books. If you're already logged into Gobi, it will pass you through automatically, which is what you saw me do. If not, you'll get a screen where you need to authenticate and type in your Gobi credentials. So in that way, they're separate. We offer a little quick pass to get in there, but you do have separate credentials for the two systems. So that was the first thing. And then I think the other question was really around sort of roles for workflows. So right now in Mosaic, currently in production, we have one role does it all. So the super user can do it all. However, we are currently working on expanding out our roles in Mosaic so that we can sort of have selector workflows and acquisition workflows. So we are in development right now is the ability to create discrete roles for Mosaic and have the storefront respect those roles. Additionally, we are working on and have designs for our new selector workflows. So how you actually search, discover, select, and send to acquisitions to buy. That will be coming by spring, June at the latest. Again, I just saw the designs this week. They look spectacular. So that will be coming to a webinar soon. So those two things are well underway and part of this year's goals.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. I appreciate all the explanation.
See, I had a question about, I saw the duplicate checking in the process, which looked cool. I'm wondering if there's integration to holdings or that kind of real-time information, searching for titles to display like whether or not you already own that title, or if there's thoughts for that kind of integration feature.
Yeah, so we've come a ways, but we have a ways to go on duplication checking in the storefront. So when you're in a Mosaic search result, you will see a banner that tells you right in your search results that you already have access to that content. We are going to be adding a filter in the coming months that allows you to quickly and easily filter out things you already have access to, right? That'll help instead of just having to look and scroll through the list. Right now, any EBSCO held titles, whether it's a subscription or any other sort of EBSCO purchases, it's all automatically synced up to Mosaic. You're covered there. We also can manually load any of your holdings. We are looking into options to automatically load holdings like you do for Gobi, where you send it either through the library system or send a file on a certain cadence. So that's additional work we'd like to do to automate that to make it a little bit more streamlined. But for now, there is duplication checking again, 100% for any EBSCO purchases, no matter the model, no matter what the system is. But we are looking at that and also some integrations with HLM and things over time. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that question because with Mosaic, we want to keep the things that you know and love about GOBI, right? But we also want to be innovative and have new things. We're not looking to just recreate everything that we had before. We're thinking about what didn't work or what could be improved and kind of re-envisioning things. So we do want to have an approval type process in Mosaic. It just might not look exactly like what GOBI has today. So that's definitely something we've been thinking a lot about, how to do that and how to do it well. So more to come there as we continue to sort of sort through what we want that to look like. And we'll be asking a lot of you librarians too about that, what works. But yeah, GOBI's approval processes are very elaborate. I have to say, when I started the company like 27 years ago, I was a rule writer. And so my job when I was hired out of college was to translate your memorandum of agreement into something the systems could understand and work with the profilers that describe the books to make sure those matches. So that is about as close to my heart as you can get with approval plans. So I'm really excited to sort of be able to carry that through to Mosaic and sort of, again, keep what we know and love, but also re-envision it. So maybe some of those limitations that are currently out there, we don't have, we can, oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to that question.
GOBI currently has the selector and order module. Will this be the same in Mosaic? So yes, we definitely are not going to have, I can definitively go on record and say we will not have a select cart and an order cart and an export cart in Mosaic. We're going to sort of eliminate the concept of 3 different types of carts, but we will absolutely have the workflows to do all those things. It's just not going to be looking like a cart. Again, trying to streamline it and make it a little bit more intelligible. So as folks are using the product, they understand. Yeah. And Sophia, we see your note. I don't know if you can hear saying you're having a hard time with the audio. We can provide some answers, the transcript should help, or we can recreate that and provide that out to participants.
Looks like we're at about time, but any final questions? Great. Well, thank you all. This was great. Yeah, appreciate it.